Mo Brown, and we're going to continue. I think right now we'll probably throw it to Kase. I'm sure she's doing a wonderful interview right now, so let's see what she's up to.
Hey, this is Kase here with The Weekend Gamer, and I'm talking to New York Times bestselling author Karen Travis. How you doing, Karen?
Well, it's day 3 of the con, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to sag. You know, the knees have gone. But it's been a fantastic con, and I've enjoyed it hugely. It's been wonderful meeting all the fans, people I've met online, see them in the flesh, give them a hug. It's been brilliant. It's been wonderful. Terrific buzz.
Well, your hair is still holding up. You're looking cute, so don't worry about it. That's always a
special
concern.
spray.
Now, you know, I want to ask you about all the different books you've been doing. I know you had Bloodline, and the one that's out now, Republic Commando. I want to get the most information about that because I'm really into the video games. I want to know a little bit of backstory on that.
Yeah, the one that's out right now is actually another Legacy of the Force one, which is Sacrifice, which actually shouldn't have been on sale to the 29th, but it's on sale here and it's been going crazy, and I'm very pleased. Thank you everyone who's bought it.
Republic Commando comes out in October.
Yeah. That was actually supposed to be out in the summer, but we had to move things around. So the third book in the Republic Commando series is actually going to be out end of October, and that's the one that originally started out with the fantastic game Republic Commando, which I've actually played, despite the fact I'm really not a gamer and I'm frightfully old, but I just love killing Geonosians.
Now, did you grow up, you know, into fantasy and sci-fi, or is this something you kind of fell into later in life?
Well, Star Wars. I mean, this is the embarrassing thing, and this actually dates me somewhat. I was actually a young journalist reviewing the movie when it came out in the cinema. And I sat there thinking, well, this is good, you know, because it was like, oh, we've never seen special effects like this before. And then I sort of forgot about it. And 27 years later, I got a call from Del Rey saying, would you like to write Star Wars? And I thought, yeah, but I better find out something about it. So I knew nothing about Star Wars, but I've turned into a complete fan because it is such a fantastic universe for a writer. And it's a wonderful community. And I know everyone thinks, oh, she's bound to say that, but no, I have made some wonderful friends in this community. I have enormous pleasure doing the books. I've got my own series with HarperCollins, the sort of City of Pearls series, and I love doing that, but there's no community, obviously. Whereas here, you know, you can dress up, you can have fun. I've actually had the honour of being made honorary member of the 501st Legion, you know, those wonderful guys you see in the Stormtrooper armour. They made me an honorary member, and I've actually got armour now, and I'm going to troop with them.
Where's your armour today, Karen?
Well, it's all being made up. You know,
okay.
There's a sort of Gucci plates you see there, and you know, I do a bit of uplift at my age.
Now, how do you even come up with some of these storylines? What do you do to get your inspiration and to think of, like, where do I go next?
Right, well, it depends whether you're working on your own or working in a team. On the Republic Commando books, I actually work on my own, so I can actually, you know, I visualise the characters. I always start from the characters. If you build a really good three-dimensional character, and I sort of build them from the ground up. I actually build little psychological profiles for them. Then they can dictate the plot, because they'll do what they want to do. There's no point giving a plot to a character, and they just won't fit. And I've tried it, but they just won't obey.
Well, we see you're not a control freak, and there's no room for that here, because you can't really control what's happening. They're just going to do their own thing,
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the other thing when you're working in a team is that it's a totally different experience, but it's enormous fun. It must be rather like writing for TV series, is that you've got to sit down together, you've got to work out the whole story arc, and when you're writing it, because writing is such it's one of these things that things happen while you're writing. The characters do things, and it doesn't always go the way you want. Is that you need to be constantly in touch with the other people, saying, "Hey, this has happened. Is that all right for you?" And someone will say, "Well, could you make that happen because I need that to happen in the next book." So it's a real jigsaw to fit together. But it's been a blast. I love working as a team because I was a journalist all my working life. It's a very solitary, miserable life, and to actually then work with a team of really creative, fantastic people, and Troy and Aaron are brilliant. It's a huge fun. I'm really sad to come to the end of the series. I hope we can work on another one.
Well, I'm talking to Karen Travis, someone who really doesn't enjoy her work. I don't know, I get the impression that, no, it's wonderful to see you speak with such passion about doing something you love. I think few people do that, and that's why they're miserable. You don't look very miserable. You look pretty happy.
Writing is a privilege. Many of the people who read my books are basically stuck in some terrible jobs, terrible places in the world. Many of my readers are soldiers doing a magnificent job in very difficult circumstances, and I am safe here, and if I can give them some pleasure and some respite, then I've earned my oxygen for the day. So I know how privileged I am, and I'm very grateful to have the break.
Now, do people really in the community, if is there any anonymity? Do people just know you? You walk down not down the street, but in the convention, do people know who you are, or you have to wear a little sign? I'm Karen Travis. I wrote that.
Wow, I'm amazed how many people do recognise me, which is amazing seeing as I used to have long hair. I had it cut last week.
It's really cute.
Thank you so much. Obviously, my picture must be on the milk cartons somewhere, but they do recognise me. I think they also hear the accent because I'm the only English author doing Star Wars. So it's a bit of a giveaway. Oh, it's that crazy British woman.
Writing those crazy storylines.
Absolutely, yeah.
And anything else you want to tell us about the Republic Commando? Any plot details that you think we can spill out to us, leak to us?
Well, there's an awful lot of people wanting to know what happens to the relationship between the clone Darman and the Jedi Itain. Well, you're going to have to read the book, but all sorts of things happen. And it's actually set in year 2 of the Clone Wars, so it's getting actually very, very gritty, very dangerous, and people are taking huge risks. But there's also some funny moments. I can promise them some fun, but also some tragedy, because you've got to have both in life. But I really hope that they enjoy it, and that they'll stay with me for the 4th book in the series next year.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Oh, I have no doubt. So we see here that Karen's a spoil sport. She won't give us any details, but hey, go out and get the book and you'll find out more about it. Now, one question we like to ask everyone here when they walk past us is, what is your game? Besides writing these wonderful books, what do you like to do?
Well, I had to think hard about that because I think, as most of my fans know, I actually write 16 hours a day, and sometimes I actually will write 72 hours at a stretch, which has not done my health any good. But I actually do have a hobby, and it's collecting pens, which is a bit sad, really. I mean, isn't that sad?
No, it's different.
I mean, I've got an enormous collection of fountain pens, which is sort of like, would you like to see my stamp collection?
So do you get them from like the hotels you stay at, and just kind of like, where do you get all the pens from?
Oh no, this is all costly stuff. These are all custom-made fountain pens and high-end fountain pens. So I've got more than any woman could possibly need. Well,
how many?
I'll admit to not quite 100.
Wow, that's pretty extensive.
Yeah. So I shall have to get that insured sooner or later because that's a big collection. But I think I'm going to have to now change my hobbies to going out and sort of partying because it's about time.
Well, Karen, if you want to go out partying a little bit later tonight, I am ready. I have a couple of moves I can show you, but I have a feeling you can have a couple of moves you can show me. Thank you for talking to us. I know you're really busy with everyone, and I wish you the best of luck with Republic Commando coming out October of 2007. All right, thank you. You have a great day, okay? All right, bye. This is Kase here. We're rocking it out here at the Star Wars Celebration 4, and we're having a great time. I was just speaking to Karen Travis, learning so much about the different series that she's doing. And you know the question we always like to ask everyone, what's your game?